6 o'clock, I'm calling the Park and Rec meeting on November 7th to order. The PRC attendance, we got Mary Ellen, Ryan, myself, Don Bugby, Missy, two guests. Michelle.
Yeah, Bob, it's
Dickie.
Brendan. I'm on the phone.
Okay. All right, that's good. You're on the phone, Brendan? I
Yep.
think Tim's gonna check in at 6:30, he said. And the only one we're missing is Sarah, and we have the other guest. Okay, Matt Reed, okay. It's out here. All right, so, previous meeting minutes, I took a look at them. Couple things, for attendance, you gotta get rid of Winnie's name there because you have her also
Oh,
as,
that's my bad. Yeah,
as
okay,
absent. Okay,
okay.
He's at volleyball.
yeah, but she's, and as long as Don's here, that's okay. And I have a question, on the page 2 about pickleball. It says open play pickleball court times of 8 to 10 a.m. are on a daily basis and 6 to 8 p.m. on Mondays. Hi, Sarah's now here. It's like Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It's not open 6 to 8, Don?
What's that? It's accurate how it's written.
Huh?
It's accurate how it's written.
It's only open Mondays at 6 to 8?
For
It's not-
open play, it's like scheduled. Anybody can go there anytime, but those are just times where people
You can go-
specifically go.
It's like a meetup of pickleball.
Okay, so that's right, the way it's
It's
written?
exactly accurate.
Okay, all right. And I just have the one thing about
Okay.
league. Yeah, anybody else have anything? Okay,
Nothing.
is somebody move to approve the minutes?
Yeah, right, because I wasn't here.
You weren't here.
I'll move to
Oh, yeah, Sarah was here.
Sarah,
Yeah, who second, Mary Ellen, you want to second it?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any more discussion? No, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Brendan, you and I, okay.
Aye, yep.
Anyone opposed? No. Abstain? No. Okay. Care of that order of business. Now, the next one's the director's report, updated programs and facilities, Don.
All right,
Take it away.
let's see, all programs that have recently ended, youth soccer, ended October 26th. There were 224 kids participating in that. Adult soccer, ended this past Sunday on November 3rd. There were 45 participants registered for that. All the tennis sessions at Cross Lane, tennis courts are over. They were October. The adult beginner sessions ran through October 7th. There were 5 participants, and the adult intermediate sessions ran through October 15th. There were 11 participants. Youth pickleball that Winnie ran through October 16th at Cross Lane. There were 9 participants registered for that. Winnie also held a high school pickleball tournament on Monday, October 14th. There were 18 participants, making up 9 teams registered for that. Zumba toning, that program ran through October 29th, and there were 5 participants registered for that. Fall programs that are ongoing, women's basketball runs through November 19th on Tuesdays at the high school gym. There are 27 participants registered for that. And just a side note, not really for the minutes, but there's more women registered for basketball than men nowadays.
Oh.
Anyways, men's basketball, this program runs through November 24th on Wednesdays from 6 to 9 at the high school gym, and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the high school gym. There are 23 participants registered for that. Adult volleyball program is running through November 21st on Thursdays, 7 to 9 at the high school gym. There are 34 registered participants for that. Pickleball, all pickleball sessions are held at Cross Lane pickleball courts. Open play, like Bob said before, 8 to 10 a.m. on a daily basis and 6 to 8 p.m. That will be adjusted, obviously, for the start, on Mondays. Senior center programs are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Skill clinics are held on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And these sessions will continue, weather permitting. Winter programs upcoming, youth basketball. Pre-K basketball is scheduled to run on Saturdays, January 4th through February 8th. There are currently 14 registered participants. We're probably going to take 20 in that session. Grade K through grade 5 basketball is scheduled to run January 4th through February 15th. And there are currently 59 participants registered. We just started registration this past week. All our other winter programs are in the planning stages, and updates will be provided as soon as possible. There will be difficulty scheduling winter Parks and Rec programs throughout the remainder of the school year due to District 18 construction renovation projects, and then conflicts with the high school girls and boys basketball schedules. These programs will include men's basketball, women's basketball, adult volleyball, and Zumba. We're trying to squeeze those in. Those are going to be probably changed on a weekly basis. Beginning with the seasonal hiring process started in the spring of 2025 and going forward, all seasonal Parks and Rec employees 18 years and older and all volunteer coaches will be required to submit information for background checks. That's new for us. The budget process, the 25-26 budget information was received yesterday. Any Parks and Rec Commission requests should be presented, discussed, and substantiated as soon as possible. Budget requests are requested to be submitted to the Finance Director by December 1st. The Finance Director and the Selectwoman will review these budgets in December prior to submitting them to the Board of Selectmen for a review in early January. The Board of Finance will then start their reviews in late January. Facilities. Townwoods Park, Haynes Park, Cross Lane Park facilities are still open and in use on a daily basis. White Sand Beach bathrooms, water was shut off for the season and the building was closed on Monday, November 4th. Public Works will be reestablishing a berm across White Sand Beach shortly. This will be the second season for doing this, and it's an attempt to minimize high water from the winter storms pushing sand up and reshaping the beach. Townwoods Park, Haynes Park, and Cross Lane bathrooms are expected to be closed up for the season shortly, depending on the weather. Townwoods Park fields, overseeding and aeration process is complete. Soccer goals will be removed shortly, depending on soccer club when they're wrapping up everything and weather. We had a recent water pump problem at Townwoods Park. The building was closed from Saturday, November 2nd through November 6th. The well pump power switch located in the well pit failed and had to be replaced. And then one more question here for the commission to think about. A representative from the lacrosse club has requested permission to store the lacrosse goals in an enclosed trailer on site for the winter at Townwoods Park. And I told them that Parks and Rec Commission input is required for this request. So if anybody has any thoughts about that, let me know.
Did it say how big it is? Is it large or can't be too?
I haven't seen it, so I don't really know. He just first asked and I said, I gotta run this by the commission. So I personally don't think it's a good idea for a personal trailer to
Second
store.
that.
Is that Brendan?
Was that Brandon?
Brendan, are you?
Yeah, I don't, I mean, look, I mean, where have they kept it in the past? You know, like they don't, I don't know.
Oh,
If
all the goals, all the
lacrosse is
goals are
doing
just
that, like,
stored
what
in the
else can
park.
go in there?
All the goals are just stored in the parking lot. Except the
Oh,
small,
I see. So as opposed to just being out, they would be in a trailer.
yes. But it's a private trailer stored at the Townwoods Park. That's the problem,
What if there's some kind of vandalism to the trailer?
right?
Yep.
Well, and if you do for
Um,
one, you to do for anyone else, right?
What's that?
If you did for one team, you'd have to allow the same for another team that wanted to do the same thing.
Both.
I don't think it should, I don't know. I would worry about people in a private trailer.
Well, I think vandalism is a concern, but the goal's been outside as long as we had the park there.
Right.
So the goals would go into the trailer
Yeah,
and they have like, I know they have a bunch of like pop-up tents and. That's
well,
it.
they
I mean,
probably, well, they don't have any, they don't store any, much of that stuff at the
they don't.
building now, not lacrosse, soccer does. We can't get the goals inside. We probably could fit the lacrosse goals inside the building.
But I feel like if we let the soccer club store stuff there.
Yeah,
But
We
in
should
the
let the
building,
lacrosse
right? Or
players
just
use
in
those.
the,
but the soccer club stuff is inside the building locked up.
I know, but
That's the difference.
can we put the lacrosse stuff in the shed?
We probably could get the lacrosse goals inside the building in the center part of the building for the winter.
That could be,
Soccer goals won't fit. I bring the smallest soccer goals
Yeah.
inside too.
that could be.
It just seems like we have to be like even across the board, like we can't just say no to lacrosse, but we make exceptions for soccer, you
I
know.
agree with that. Do they get damaged in the winter or something? Is that why they
No,
want?
they just exposed to the elements longer, that's all. I think the fix would be to move them inside the building for the winter.
I'd be
That's
fine with
simple.
that.
Yeah, because
problem with that.
lots of room in the big, as you walk in, you
Right,
could just put them in there.
smaller soccer goals in there too, but
Yeah,
we can get the lacrosse goals in there. I think that would be better.
because there's something was stolen, right? You said?
Yeah, ours,
Yeah, that we had things disappear.
yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just
That
saw
seems like-
Martha there.
Yeah, all right, I'll contact the lacrosse club guy and say we're gonna put them inside for the year and that'll be end of that.
I think that's the best.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. All right, are we ready to move on?
I'm done.
Any more questions for Don or any other comments? No?
No, I don't have any.
Okay, all right, so we're on to the next bit of old business, dredging at Haynes Park. That we brought this up at Park and Rec last year. The Board of Finance and the Selectmen decided not to initiate it then. The good news is that Martha arranged for Don and I to go to a meeting with our new engineers for the town, Jacobson's Associates. I guess it was about a year ago or so. These guys are not now signed on to be our engineers. And we went 2 weeks ago, Monday or something. It was a Monday 2 weeks ago, Don. And very, very, very positive now that this is probably going to happen and hopefully next fall. We went to the meeting. Martha couldn't go because she was busy with something else, and she just told Don and I to go there. We've done these things like at Townwoods Park and other places, these big projects. We met two of the associates. I believe there's 22 of them in-house, which is good. So they have all the experts kind of that can take care of everything, similar to when we Townwoods Park had Ballmer Associates, where all the experts were in
It's nice.
in their office. But anyway, we met the primary contact is a guy named Aaron Mortensen. He's a PE, and we also met Howard Fromer, who is now the president of the Jacobson's Associates, and it went very well. We spent about a half hour going over. I think maybe you guys have seen this before, but we have aerial ones from town, the GIS business from town that I'll pass a couple of them around if you want to see. We showed them one there. We showed them the size of the beach area that we're talking about, which is approximately an area by the beach that's about 300 feet wide. It includes the dock areas and the beach area, and it would go out for the swim lines about 50 feet, 50 to 60 feet, right, Don? To maybe we want to get a depth of about 5 feet or so at the deepest part to get rid of all the muck that's in there. Here's another picture. I don't know, just same thing. We had that. We also had a survey from that Don had with us, an older survey, and we then supplied two more surveys, the 2014 and 2016 surveys, to Howard Fromer, the president, who then disseminates it with his group. Apparently then, we didn't know what the status was going to be. That's why I had excused myself to go out to see Martha real quick, to get an update on that, because with the election business, they had to cancel their meeting on Monday, so they couldn't discuss this at all. But speaking to Martha right now, the idea is Howard's putting together an estimate for all the engineering that's going to be involved in this. Uh, and then the beauty of the engineers is too that they would not only plan out this, but they would oversee the whole project, and also put up the bid project for the bid proposal.
When you said they were gonna come up with an estimate, what did you mean by that?
Well, for their end of the services.
For their end of the
yeah,
service? Okay.
And I suggested to Howard and also to Martha that maybe there's a way they could phase that in so they can get going on it now because it's not approved yet. Because this would be for November of next year, the work would be done. And everyone is good with that. I believe they have to check with DEEP, I guess, to make sure that's okay. The Rogers Lake Authority, are very happy that we're finally going to do this. So, it would affect the dock area and also the swim area, and hopefully the swim area could be increased a little bit, from what it currently is, and the muck will be all taken away. Now, they may need almost the whole park to take all the muck away because the muck is kind of like pudding and you just can't keep on building it up. You can only put so much and it just. So basically when they do this project, when the contractor comes in, basically the whole park has to be shut down. The docks have to be removed, everything, and they're going to need most of the area to put all the muck. And then it's a matter of the muck has to dry out for at least probably 2 weeks before they can transport it. Now, this would also involve, they do the testing, the soil testing. Yeah, so I'm sure it's not going to smell good. But anyway, and then all the materials have to be tested out. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff from Route 1 comes out. It comes down there because, especially until we fix the driveway at the boathouse, it had free flow just to go right down, right into the lake. But we spent, I don't know, $12,500 or something to fix that driveway a little over a year ago. So now the runoff from Route 1 does not come down there. So and it's possible and probable that, I don't know how you want to describe it. Undesirable soil results may come from it. So that would add to the cost of what has to go on. But the good news is that Jacobson's associates would handle the whole project. So basically, I just spoke to Martha. They couldn't have a meeting on Monday because I guess this was used for voting stuff, but that they didn't have their meeting, so it was left. Howard called Martha, and basically Martha requested an estimate for their services for this or proposal for what they would charge, and then
You said they'll also create the
bid document.
bid document.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
and oversee the whole thing. It's similar to what when we did Town Woods Park throughout that project. The engineers would come up with their best guess estimate of what contractor's gonna charge to do this project. And at least these guys are real good. We were very impressed. And hopefully it could come out similar to what happened at Town Woods Park, where some of the bids are less than what they say and some are more. And of course, then you put whatever contingency is. I think because we're dealing with soils, it would be a 20% contingency. So whatever they estimate, there's an extra 20% in there to do it. And after speaking with Martha just now, who was going on her way home, she said that she's waiting for the President Howard to provide a estimate of what would cost. I suggested to Howard and Martha that if the money is not available right now, maybe it could be a phased in approach so they can start it now and then have some agreement that they get the rest of it once the new budget would go in next year. And Don and I believe everyone on Park and Rec would like to see this get done next year, and November seems to be the best time to do it. It's the least disruptive because the high school programs in the spring, and of course the summertime people use the park. And that her feeling is she would like to get this all in the budget for next year so we can do it next November. But there will definitely be a disruption, or I don't know. We'll find out more about what their proposal would take, but count on a few weeks that park will be shut down because there'll be construction stuff there, and muck everywhere, and then once the muck dries out, then they put it in the truck, I guess, and take it somewhere. I don't know where. Don, you want to add anything else to that?
I think you covered it all.
Yeah, and so that's very, very good news because unfortunately, the Park and Rec Commission and the subcommittee that studied the Haynes Park, we've come up with a lot of good ideas of what to do, but until this project's done, it kind of interrupts doing some of the other things. But today, eventually, hopefully, it'll all be done, or most of them at least will be done. But the good news is that Martha's all on board about this, and she arranged for Don and I to go.
Good.
It was 2 weeks ago, yes, Monday, that we went there. Anybody have any questions?
No, I don't.
Yeah, Michelle. Yeah, Michelle is she's one of the people that wrote some correspondence to us about the leach problem, and that was very helpful. Yeah, that was very helpful to it's unfortunate we can't do anything right away, but hopefully we will do something to take care of that problem.
Pat's friend who lives on Grassy Road on the lake, couldn't be here tonight, but she sent some input. And she's very impressed with how the old minutes look, and we're excited that the pavilion and the playground project has been backburnered until this is taken care of.
Yes.
But she said, the one thing we need to stress is that extensive dredging for water flow all the way around the island, otherwise it will just be a hole that will fill in again. So I think that's something that.
Yeah, well, the engineers, like, apparently, Don mentioned this at the meeting, that, okay, right off, oh, here it is. This one, the islands out here. Well, over here, it's very shallow. It's very shallow over here, so that even the rowers, when they go out, they don't row their skiffs this way because it's so shallow. So they go out this side of the island. It's deeper. Now, the way we do these dredging project is that we wouldn't, I don't think, well, we'll see what the engineers say. Well, what the preliminary discussions were that saying we wanted to make the swim area 50, 60 feet out from the beach area, then you would make an additional 10 to 20 feet on top of that because you need a place for future muck to go before it gets into the beach. And we think it was dredged a little over 30 years ago. So hopefully we'll get a good amount of time before that this would have to be done again.
Can you have them advise on how long it lasts?
Oh yeah, that's what they're working on.
Yeah. I think we asked that last time just to keep in mind for how frequently we would need to do it to keep it up. That'd be helpful to know.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna add, once we see the plan, we have a lot of questions for, and what's gonna give us the biggest bang for the buck for how long it's gonna stay good, so to speak. And of course they have to do some testing to find out how, eventually there is gravel and sand underneath all the muck. There was, even when I moved here 28 years ago, I used to swim out there. But we'll have to, a lot of this is dependent on what they find, but but the good news is at least Martha's on board with getting this done next year. And even though it's going to cost us, we got some preliminary estimate at least $300,000 for the project, but now we're going to wait to see what the engineers say. And we've talked about this in the previous meetings.
So you said the last printing was what?
What now?
How many years? ago?
30 years ago, around somewhere. in there.
30.
A little over 30 years, we think. I wasn't around, so I can't tell you that. But
Thank you.
but we're guessing it was at least 30 years ago. It was done. Usually every year, because the prevailing winds blow everything in the lake that way most of the time, that we have the public works crews comes in, scrapes off some of the top layer of the leaves that come in, because it's the leaves that make the muck, it's the geese that make the muck, pound the feces for each goose every day. But we have good news on that part of the agenda too. Any questions? No?
No.
So that's why I jumped out. I saw Martha just to find out exactly what was going on at this point. Hopefully next meeting in December, we'll have a more news on this. Okay? All right. And Michelle, we're thankful you wrote a couple correspondences to alert to everybody that even in the really shallow parts there's problems with the leeches.
It was our first big day at the lake, and I had a son and daughter-in-law, and grandkids. There are beach chairs, they have a little cabana that they set up, and Cecilia came out. I've got buggies on my legs.
Yeah, but the good news is, okay, things get done. It usually takes a little longer, but it looks like we're going to get that done. And then one of the questions was, well, if you go down and there's still muck, what do you do? You may have to bring in sand. But exactly. Now, where's Winnie? Winnie was working on swim lessons at pools, but she couldn't get a pool around here to have swim lessons. But certainly we would hope to have swim lessons. Okay. All right. Okay. Next one. Goose mitigation at Haynes Park. Well, we put those coyotes out, and some of them disappeared. So sometimes the geese will come back. Don ordered more. We have 3 out there, and if it's windy, go by and see what it does. They move all around and this and that. But I've been back from France now for just about a month. I go by there several times a day, and I don't see the geese there anymore. I think they moved on to somewhere else because they just don't like the looks of those.
But don't they usually go away this time of year?
Well, some of them,
Everything moved across line.
There's still a lot of cross lanes.
and Don had mentioned, Don, you're going to put a couple of those geese.
I put 2 at cross line.
So we'll see how that works.
I drove by today, I didn't see any geese a couple times. And I ordered 3 more just to go around as well.
Very good. Because for some reason this seems to work. And the swans look very nice out there. They're beached right now because they drained the lake. But
The geese walk right by those things, though.
Huh?
The geese walk right by the swans. I've seen it multiple.
Oh no, but they like the swans. Like when the swans are out there, they like go like they congregate around the swans. But Don knows in the hierarchy of things, if the swans are around and want fresh water, the geese get out of the way. But that they certainly don't keep the Canadian Canada geese away. But the coyotes seem to be working well because whenever it's breezy, they move.
Just recently, my son was driving his remote control boat at Haynes Park.
Yeah.
And I went and had my beach chair, like while he was doing it, and put it out and wasn't even thinking. And another friend joined us and thought I had my dog with me because I put my chair right by the coyote, like without thinking. And it was like moving right. I didn't even like notice that I did that, but she like walked up and was like, "Oh my God, I thought your dog was sitting here."
They're
Realistic.
it seems that they work, and as long as you move them around every once in a while, and they move around with the wind, it seems to really be
I
working.
notice I find them a lot up on their front legs. Is that supposed to be like that?
Huh?
When they're on their front legs and their hind end is up in the air?
Yeah, that's just the way the spring
Yeah.
moves them in the wind.
No, they do look realistic. Well,
Yeah,
Somebody pushes on them the stake. Not so.
Because that's been tried in a lot of places, but if you don't get the ones that move, they're just stationary. After a while, the geese figure that out. But for some reason, these coyotes seem to work very well. But I think so. We've made a lot of progress on that. Okay, and
Looking at all the geese.
and Don, you put 2 out there cross lane, so we hope that works a little bit. And
I should have the other ones, they should be delivered probably by Monday. And I'll put 1 or 2 more out cross lane because the 2 isn't enough.
So there's
Oh.
2 there now and you think you can add 2 more?
Yeah.
yeah, we get at least 3 out there to see how that works. Good. Okay, any other questions about that? Oh, and they're $69 a piece, so they're not real expensive to get these things, but they seem to really work. Okay, we get to the next point, the survey for Haynes Park. Did anything happen there, Sarah?
Yeah, I did follow up with BSC,
Yeah.
as we discussed, to tell them we're taking a tactical pause on the playground positioning, all of those things until, I didn't really give a lot of details to them, but they acknowledged it.
Oh, okay.
And they're prepared to re-engage whenever we're ready with more plans.
Okay, yeah, because the dredging is the number one thing we have to do. And- okay, that's very good. Well, I'm glad that they're still receptive to your phone calls or emails or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Any questions, Sarah, about that? No? Okay, the last thing here is this Survey Monkey. We discussed it at the last meeting and Sarah had put out some questions about it. I just have a few comments before everybody can talk about this on the commission, but I looked up, being a former scientist, it's very important for as far as reliability and validity of studies.
You looked up what?
Huh? I looked up about Survey Monkey, a lot of articles
okay.
about what it does and
Oh, okay.
and how accurate it can be or not be. And a lot of it has to do with reliability and validity of results. And one of the things I noticed, and Don actually mentioned too, was a lot of times this Survey Monkey doesn't go out into the general public, so to speak. It goes within companies or within organizations or within the school population where they know all the emails and they send it to these people so you know kind of who your audience is. So I have a real concern about just going out to the general internet because I have always had a concern about social media, how it's a lot of stuff doesn't work out that well. But anyway, I want everybody to consider that. How do we know who's actually answering this? You could have somebody answer it a lot, the way things are with computers. So we really don't know who the audience would be, even though there'd be a check mark to say that I am a Old Lyme resident, but somebody could say they are, and they could be from some other town or whatever. So I that's my biggest concern about it, besides the fact that you need a lot of, it's called the N in scientific studies, a lot of subjects that respond to these things. And the more response you get, the more predictable those results really are. So I have a concern about it, and I don't feel positive about doing this, but I'll open it up to everybody else.
Also, don't you have to have permission to email somebody something that hasn't requested it? You don't have to?
I mean,
Well, it depends on how are we getting these email addresses that we're.
That's the thing. I think you can get into some trouble if you do email when somebody didn't get.
Well, if we we have permission to email everybody that's ever registered for a Park and Rec program in Lyme and Old Lyme. So we can
That's good.
start with that.
Start with that.
Population, which is hundreds of people and families and the ones primarily using Rogers Lake, right? And
That's good.
opt in, they have to opt out to not receive emails from
Right.
Park and Rec. So right there, I feel like that's a great sample population to send it to.
If you have that's important rather than just putting out to the internet, to have a population of addresses that you know that these people, the people responding. And then you're going to have something, some sort of central
There
location.
is of people that
Yeah.
put their email in to get news about the town.
I don't know.
Sign up for
Yeah,
minutes.
there is.
you
Yeah,
know.
like people that sign up to get Martha's report weekly and things like that. And I would imagine there's all verbiage in there about receiving notifications from the town and you can opt out of receiving them if you want. But we are the town, so therefore I think we can send. That's just my opinion. I mean, Brendan would know better than I am, but I think we're a town agent, we're a town commission. We can send something to anyone that has opted into receiving it.
I forgot to mention, that was my other concern, because I had asked Sarah, has any commission or from the town itself, not from the school, from the town, done this, and
Yes,
somebody has.
yes. I've responded to a survey that was put in Martha's weekly update.
Okay,
This was maybe 3 months ago about how people receive information from the town.
and
I don't know if
where,
anyone else
and where
responded.
that listen,
What was the platform for it? Wasn't SurveyMonkey?
I think so, but it was really clean and like unaffiliated looking. It wasn't
Yeah.
like I do Survey Monkeys with friends about getting together for
Yeah.
reunions. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It looked like very professional.
so,
If the issue with you, Bob, is, I mean, Park and Rec has sent out surveys before. We've sent out surveys about, that's how
Yeah.
Winnie came up with different programming and things like that. It was sent out to people like, what do you want Park and Rec to see? How do you utilize programs, stuff like that.
Well-
The issue is Survey Monkey in itself. I mean, we can easily, and I haven't talked to Sarah about it, but I quickly made her questions into a Google form and send that out as a survey super easily. I do that all the time. And then you get the data and it's easy to analyze. You don't have to use Survey Monkey.
as long as there's some control to know who's responding, and just somebody from, it's not a, is there a way to?
Well, yeah,
to-
I mean, you can,
You don't get old line people responding.
on a Google form,
That's my concern.
you're gonna have some people that take advantage of it, but
That's one of my biggest
Right, Ashley,
concerns.
really.
I think you have to think big picture. Are we asking people to apply for a grant? And we need to really vet eligibility? No. We're asking people, well-meaning people in the community to provide input
Yeah.
on proposed enhancements. And I think we should assume positive intent. Are there going to be people who skirt the system? Maybe, but I think that's true in any forum and we have to sort of proceed with that known risk. And to me, I think it's a very low risk.
yeah, I mean, any epidemiologist that's looked at anything ever tells you that you have to, there's a little bit of wiggle room in any answer that you get, but
And this,
we're asking the most simple of questions, like, do you use this for voting? Do you picnic there? Would you like to see improvements? Like, that's it. What are people gonna say? Like,
Isn't one of the questions, are you a resident?
well, here's the thing with survey, because I've done Survey Monkeys through work before. Like every recipient in the email list has a unique link, and you can only allow that. You can set the thing to only allow that link to be used for one survey response.
Oh, okay, these are the things I'm concerned about.
So, like,
in order to have control over.
If I got this thing and I go and post it on Facebook and 50 people try to do it, only one person's gonna be able to do it.
the problem with I have to say the problem with SurveyMonkey is if you're not paying for it, there's much less you can do. Like your company, I'm sure pays for survey, or
Oh, yeah.
there's much, you guys are using the free one, but there's very small limits into the amount of people that you can survey with the
And
free.
you can't do your branding and all that, but like, we could find out what Martha did,
Yes,
And
there's
just-
someone in
use the same one.
I talked to Katie Balaka about it and she gave me a name of someone who and I'm just blanking,
Okay.
that works in the town that helps Cheryl maybe or.
Oh, Cheryl Poirier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cheryl
Yeah.
helps them do the most recent one.
I mean, the Google,
So they might
Google
have a
is the
subscription.
easiest way to do this. The question, I mean,
But it's a little trickier to lock it down to only allow a recipient to do it once. Like it's basically a form sitting there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I mean, honestly, I would
I mean,
say
we could
if it
ask-
was adequate for Martha's thing, then it's adequate for us. Whatever that thing was.
Yeah. Or when you think,
Sure.
Okay, so
And we're a small town. We're not gonna get 10,000
well,
responses.
as long as there's a way to
We're
control
gonna
it,
get like
because
100.
they're really, unless you pay for it, I saw, it's really not a whole lot of validity and reliability to what you're getting. You're just getting kind of ideas a little bit.
You're getting responses to the questions you ask from the recipients that you
Yeah,
send
but
it
you have
to.
to have it like in a work environment, there's control that the people that work there just answer, and you're
but like, I'm talking about marketing. Like,
Oh,
send the thing to a list of 5,000 people and maybe 250 even open the email and 100 click through it and submit the survey. But they were in the original list that were sent to AKA Park and Rec participants in the past or people.
well, see, I'm not a social media guy, so I don't know how all these things work, and I don't answer anything. I don't, unless I know who's sending it to me.
Well, I think the thing Winnie did is a
I'm very
perfect.
exposed to what I get on.
I think the thing Winnie did is a perfect example of this. Just getting information from people that have indicated an interest in Park and Rec things in the past.
Well, if somebody wants to take responsibility to do it, but I can't do that because
I think if we sent it,
I
Sarah,
can't do it.
You can't do what? Take responsibility for it?
Yeah, because I'm not an internet guy.
Yeah, no,
and-
Missy already, thankfully offered to help me mechanize it. Like and I would read the questions here in this forum. As you know, I requested a special meeting to do this, but we can use this meeting to, I'll make a motion to vote on the content of the survey while we're here.
That's fine.
Okay.
And if you guys want to do it, and you say that Arthur's done it or somebody in the town's done it, and it seems to have had some value to it. I don't know how much value it has, because you're talking to a guy that was very strict about statistics and
Yes.
validity and probabilities and all this stuff.
Yes.
Being a scientist. So as a scientist, I don't like any of this stuff, but
I think that's understandable. I
yeah,
think this is just different. These are different
It's
types of
different
questions.
reasoning.
I
yeah.
agree. We're not
Also,
gonna use phase.
remember, if however many people respond and say they want something, doesn't mean it's automatically gonna happen.
No, because that's,
It
yeah,
just
because
gives
I
us
thought
some
the Park and Rec Commission, especially the subcommittee, did an excellent job of evaluating some of the real needs. So we've already kind of,
And sadly not.
Kind of broadcast what the needs are.
Instant.
but if you guys want to do this, I'm not going to stop it, but I personally don't want.
I don't think it's gonna hurt anything. It's just another way to gather information.
Especially if the people whose emails are from Parks and Rec sign up, then they have given permission to be emailed.
well, I think half the time, like, yes, the subcommittee did do a good job. And we can all sit here and say, this is what people want and this and that, but until you actually reach out to the community, I feel like you have to give people an opportunity to actually voice what they want. And this is giving them that opportunity. Like, they've already expressed interest in Park and Rec programming and hearing from us. We could have this survey live on the town website for a month, put it in the minutes that it's out there, and then nobody can complain to us. On the flip side, like, well, you didn't ask us what we wanted. Well, we did. It was sitting here. You had an opportunity to take a survey and
And of course, they had the opportunity to read minutes from all these meetings. They had the opportunity to call in.
but without a survey, they have an opportunity to read minutes, but they don't have an opportunity to, I guess they do, to voice their.
Yeah.
Well, we invited everyone to come to our subcommittee.
Yes.
Not one person came. It was
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So
I would have thought we would have had a.
I'm very
couple of groups
uncomfortable
or-
with this type of deal because I don't think it's very predictable and has a lot of value unless you pay for it and go into some more extensive ways that they do this. But
But this is free, right?
this freebie
What we're doing?
is it's up to you guys. You vote, you want it, it's fine, but I personally don't want something like that. I don't think it's very valuable, but if everybody else disagrees with me, that's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion just to gauge whether we want to do this. If we vote yes on that, then we'll proceed to the specific questions. Does that work?
Yeah, sure.
I don't even know how to formulate this motion.
Oh, do the Park and Rec want to do a survey monkey survey for
At the committee.
Haynes Park
Yeah.
improvements,
Okay.
Doesn't have to be survey.
something like that.
Yeah.
To
A
send us,
survey.
wait, a minute, so Sarah,
No, I would survey monkey, what this is going to be.
Let's call it.
So we don't.
Survey
we don't
Monkey is
know.
a cloud-based entity. We might not use them. So it might be Google Forms. So let's just say,
Oh,
I'd
okay,
like
I
to make
don't
a
know.
motion that the Parks and Rec Commission disseminate a survey to seek public input.
disseminate, I don't.
No, send. I'm sorry. I always say like 8 syllables instead of 2.
I'm talking to a lawyer, that's all you want.
So Sarah Von Fleet moved to have the Parks and Rec send a survey to,
The public.
I thought it was the people that have you have emails.
It's gonna be available
Town of
on the
Old
website,
Lyme
everybody.
Taxpayers. Targeting town of Old Lyme taxpayers.
It'll be emailed out and available online.
Okay, you guys know how to,
Seeking.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
This is a long one. To be emailed out and posted on the town website? Is that what you said?
Do we have to have that level of specificity in the motion? Sure. That works.
Okay,
No, we just make a
Seeking
motion
input
like
on.
to explore options of providing a survey to town. Like, I feel like.
The only reason I want to make it specific is because when I tried to do it informally by email, we can't do that. So I'm
the
going
town website.
seeking input on potential enhancements at Haynes Park.
okay. So you want to reread that motion, please?
I guess. Sarah moved to have the Parks and Rec Commission send a survey to the residents of the town of Old Lyme, no, to the town of Old Lyme taxpayers to be emailed out and posted on the town website, seeking input on potential enhancements at Haynes Park.
Sounds good. Okay, so Sarah, you moved to that, someone second that motion?
I second it. Tim.
Oh,
Brendan seconds it.
Brendan's here?
For Tim.
I'm here.
I
Yep.
second- Tim, I second it.
Okay, Tim's there too, okay, Tim, good, Tim,
Or a second.
We all seconded it.
We all want to.
I second.
Okay.
I'll second.
all right, any more, we've had a discussion already about it, any more discussion? What happened? Okay. All right, no more discussion? Okay, we're done discussing it. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Brendan, did you say an aye?
I did. Yep. Aye.
Okay. Anyone opposed? I'm opposed. Anybody abstain? Okay. I'm only opposed because I don't think it's very accurate information, and because of my background, I just would never do something like this, but go ahead. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Noted. Okay. I will read, what's the best way for you? I was gonna just, you've seen by email the proposed questions. We've received some feedback. I just want to read them maybe into the record. I don't know what the appropriate thing is to do, but
Can you just attach them to the minutes?
can you just attach them? I can email them to you.
Yes, you would
Yeah, we
attach
can do
these
that.
to the minutes,
your proposed questions are attached at the end.
At
but
the end of the
Yeah,
minutes.
or-
you can
Okay.
read them now and
But
then,
we want to approve the proposed questions before we.
right,
attach.
well, see, if you read them and then you guys can approve these questions.
No, let's do it here. Okay,
Well,
quickly.
you'll do it right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Okay.
So Sarah?
I did remove the question about whether you live in Old Lyme or Lyme, because we were just gonna put that the Parks and Rec Commission is seeking your input on potential enhancements to Haynes Park, parentheses, Rogers Lake. If you are an Old Lyme resident or taxpayer in Old Lyme, please complete the following short survey. Thank you for your time and input. And we removed the first question. Was that the,
Didn't you want Lyme?
No, I just said if, it would just be interesting information to have if Lyme people were saying to improve something they weren't paying for, that's all.
And since they haven't paid for anything at Haynes Park, I don't think they should be included in this at all.
I think what you have is.
That's why she just did that. She-
yeah, so I deleted that question.
Okay,
So then I'll just read through the questions. And then I'll pause after each one. If there's any feedback, just say it and then we'll get through it fast.
okay.
Okay, do you currently use Haynes Park / Rogers Lake? Yes, no. If yes.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Okay,
If yes, thank you, Brendan. If yes, activities utilized at Haynes Park / Rogers Lake, select all that apply. Rowing, beach / picnic, swimming, fishing, paddleboard / canoe / kayak, other, with a blank to insert a response.
I had feedback. I would put picnic area separate from the beach because I do feel like some people just go down there to have a meal or whatever. And then what about boating? Like, I feel like there's a lot of people that use it for boating, separate from.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, because
So I add like,
Well, you
they
can't-
pull up their boats and sometimes go to coffees or,
I still feel like people will be confused because they use,
and these are all separate ones you'd have to,
Yeah, and you can select more than one.
just put that, select more. Did you
Yeah,
have
select
that?
all that apply and it would allow you to pick.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, great.
Is that good? Everybody like that question? Okay.
Okay. If no, so remember it was if you currently use. If no, what responses most accurately characterize why you do not use Haynes Park? Cleanliness, parentheses, including geese. Lack of swim area. No interest. Other.
Do you have to ask that question? Can you just ask people that actually want to use the park?
I think it would be good to know what are the reasons they're not using it,
I agree.
if they're not using
Yeah,
it.
but they could say the geese problem, but that's only been solved in the last couple of months. And
I don't think it's solved.
Yeah.
I go by there 4 or 5 times a day, Ryan, and I don't
For
see
this
it.
period of the year, like
For-
every day. The
Every
thing
day
I
I go by there. I go to Coffee's Market every morning. But anyway, it seems to be working. It's not 100% working. You hardly ever see the geese there anymore.
But yes, for a month or so, there hasn't been any geese, but I think that there's a lot of people, myself included, that would, for months, if not years, would not go to Rogers Lake because of the geese. So we want to know that.
Yeah.
You know,
All right.
Sarah, I'm sorry, did you have basketball on the previous one?
No.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good, that's a good,
Sorry,
oh, very
just-
No,
good.
good
occurred to
point.
me.
Forgot about the basketball.
Or, yeah, or to use the facilities. Is that on that one? The restroom?
So I don't have that.
It's,
So we want-
I'm just trying to think of all the things you can do down there.
Okay, next. Are we good there?
Mhm.
Okay. Are you in favor of improving the swim area and beach at Haynes Park? Yes, no.
Mhm.
Okay.
Then I added in a specific dredging question based on feedback by email. Are you in favor of dredging, parentheses, removing muck and dirt, and parentheses, at Haynes Park to expand the swim area? And then I think we would note maybe that dredging was last completed in approximately 1995 or 30
We
years
don't
ago.
know that. And
Okay.
and personally, I don't know why we would want to bring that in. Either you want to swim there or you don't. And a lot of people aren't going to know what dredging is. And then it's going to be, okay, how much is that going to cost? Well, we don't have no clue yet what that's going to
We
cost.
thought when we.
Can you just
downloaded
ask a more
this by
general
email,
question? Like, would
There
you
was
like?
some feedback that just stating, are you in favor of improving the swim area, might not alert respondents fairly to the fact that a critical improvement pathway to improving the swim area is dredging. So
Wait, I have to say something, and I really, I don't mean this to come out rude, and I don't like to be rude, but I feel like if you voted no, that you're totally against this survey, maybe we should, does that mean that we should figure out the questions on the survey, the people that voted?
I can have some input on that. I can have input on that.
Okay, I just didn't know, I wasn't like sure how, I mean,
I
agree with
you're not
you.
in favor of it, but.
I had the same reaction.
So
What about combining those two? So are you in favor of improving the swim area, which may include dredging?
that's a better
Blah, blah,
question.
blah.
Sarah, that's when I did a sample survey just on Google, that's what I put, I combined them
Great,
two.
perfect, love it.
Are you in favor of improving the swim area and beach at Haynes Park? And then in parentheses, including dredging, and then maybe
Or which one? But
including or whatever dredging, but maybe a brief description of what it
Or
is.
including
Okay, perfect.
work involved to make it like that. Because a lot of people aren't gonna really know what dredging means, I don't think. But
Perfect. So I'm gonna say, are you in favor of improving the swim area and beach at Haynes Park, comma, which may include dredging, parentheses, removing muck or something similar?
Some
You can
like brief
finalize it.
description of
Yeah,
what dredging
perfect.
is.
Perfect. Okay, next question. If there were a defined a defined and clean swim area, would you utilize Haynes Park for swimming? Yes, no.
Yeah.
Are you in favor of installing new playground equipment, physical structure at Haynes Park? Yes, no. Are you in favor of installing playground swings at Haynes Park? Yes, no. The difference here was because we're considering two different pathways, projects. Are you in favor of additional picnic tables at Haynes Park? Do we need this one? I feel like it might be moot, but
Was that with, and or a pavilion or something like
the
that?
next question was, are you in favor of a pavilion
I
structure
thought, I
at
think,
Haynes Park?
I thought they said you're gonna fold this to about 7 questions. How many on now?
What was the feedback on that? Are
Seven-
you
that's
in
7
favor
questions.
of pavilion structure with tables?
How many questions have you gone over so far? And another thing they said, it's better to have less questions than a whole lot for these surveys.
9. We're at 9.
You could combine them. You could do the pavilion structure and tables.
Yes.
A pavilion and or, I think is the one for, I think, picnic tables definitely, because on nice days, almost always see somebody eat lunch. at
Yeah,
a
there's-
picnic
Okay,
table.
so
Yeah,
how
there's
about we just,
I think there's only one there right now.
are you in favor of a pavilion structure with tables at Haynes Park?
Or just more picnic tables. There's a lot of shade out there.
I think
Besides-
that's what you're saying.
That's what you had originally, because that's what I wrote. Are you in favor of a pavilion structure with tables at
Yeah.
Haynes Park?
That'd be similar to the white sandy.
Yeah, about the same size, a little smaller.
And then just the final one to provide your comments and a line for people to write comments.
Yeah, like that.
Did you know?
Because I was just wondering, when you say pavilion.
Oh.
What this like?
Well, that's a thought. Are they thinking of pavilion?
What's that?
Are they knowing what we mean by a pavilion? Like a gazebo type of thing? It's
I hope
not.
so.
Or a bar like Sandy Lou?
You know, so
Wow.
I mean, we can also, like, you could get, I mean, if you're concerned that people aren't gonna know what dredging is, we could literally put a link to, for more information about dredging, click on this. Are you in favor of a pavilion structure similar to this one pictured? You know, or so you
Or
could.
similar to the one at White Sands Beach, like if you're a resident, you know about that.
Rocking, you know, where there are bathrooms, all that other stuff.
Oh, that big stone.
It's not a castle. But other than that, I
Well, there's
think
one at Town Woods also. What do we call that? A gazebo?
gazebo.
Yeah, we can say pavilion.
Or the field house, you mean?
No, the
Oh, the gazebo.
gazebo in the playground.
Yeah. Of
For
course, at the beach, we refer to it as a pavilion, which we always have, but.
Okay. Great, thanks for the feedback. Motion to approve the survey in the form substantially just stated.
Okay,
the
Sarah,
questions that are.
you're making the
Oh.
motion, Sarah?
I do have one question.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was looking through the survey and I was trying to take myself out of it and just say I, have a 5-year-old that goes to soccer, so I got the survey in the mail. I feel, should there be something about the costs associated or how this is being paid for or something like, I feel like it's hard for people to answer the and maybe I'm looking too far into it, but it's hard for people to answer the question like, yeah, I'm in favor of a new playground and yeah, why not new swings and a new this and yep, go for dredging and all this, but then not realizing that like, that's all we have to.
So would you, in that opening statement you have that says Oline taxpayers, with the, knowledge that this would come from Oline taxpayer money or something like that? In the beginning, when you had your opening statement? It's, yeah, because you're not gonna get the, it's gonna
Can I just
affect.
interject here on this for a second?
Hold
So
on.
I think that if you bring in the cost aspect of it and like flat
Yes.
taxpayer, people are gonna by default think that their taxes are gonna go up one way or another.
Yeah.
And that's not gonna be the case on this. I mean, as far as I know, that's not gonna be the case on this. And I don't know. I don't want to create a false sense of
So just
Here.
ignore it for
I'm
now.
yeah. That's just my thought on it.
Yeah, well, maybe anybody that lives in a town should know that somehow you're gonna pay for something of it. even though we have some other money that was already raised.
But also it's preliminary, like you don't even know. We're just trying to get a feel of what people want. So
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. We have to
No,
think
no.
of it as somebody that's strange to this, reading it for the first time. We know what's going on because we've been
Yeah.
doing this for 100 years, but somebody looking at it for the first time, are they gonna understand, what we mean?
We could link to the report that talks about the money that's already been allocated for some of these things.
or not, and maybe just answer question, maybe see what comes from it. If people have a space to write in,
Yeah.
maybe that's a
I
concern.
want all these things, but I don't want to pay for it.
Exactly.
Could you read the intro again that you had? Cause
Yeah, I just took out taxpayers based on this, but
Oh.
the Parks and Recreation Commission is seeking your input on potential enhancements to Hayden's Park, Rogers Lake. If you are an Old Lyme resident, please complete the following short survey.
I think that's clear. I mean,
Yeah.
you said potential,
He said taxpayers,
and
so.
it doesn't mean we're gonna do all this stuff and cost $1 million for the taxes.
No, and you can also like submit the survey and have a pop-up right as you submit it that pops up with, thank you for completing this, and restate kind of the obvious opening.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, great idea.
And
So,
I think you should put something about your responses are due by a certain date, so that this just doesn't
True.
go on for months or whatever.
What do we give people?
This should be
Yes.
answered by, I don't know,
I mean, we're in no hurry, but I think
yeah.
the longer
December
people
15th.
will forget it to do it.
Yeah, there should be some, and, I did this, but I did 6 months after. So, right, something about.
Okay.
a
I wonder
time
what the
frame.
normal time
We'll
is.
include a date.
so one question I have, just because I'm into like sending to a specific list of people. So if we're specifically saying, if you're an Old Lyme taxpayer and I'm a Lyme resident and taxpayer, I shouldn't receive that email. So like if we're tapping into the Park and Rec list and stuff like that,
Right.
like we shouldn't be sending it to
Right,
people that can't,
exactly.
we don't want them to do.
Very
do it.
good
So we
point.
just have to think about that. Like, I think if it's a link or if it goes out in Martha's thing and it clearly says Old Lyme taxpayer people, like there's other reasons they're receiving that email, but if this is gonna be a targeted email specifically about this from Park and Rec.
Then we'll just filter Lyme
we
out,
shouldn't send- Yeah, we should filter Lyme.
just filter them out and not,
Well-
yeah, why would we possibly, I mean, we're not sending it to.
What did Martha do? Did she send it to just the old Lyme people?
Yeah.
or-
Where does Martha
or-
get
Yeah,
her
but
um,
it's-
list
But it's
from? Do you know,
also
Sarah?
one thing in her email. Like she's sending a weekly email or whatever, and
But
it's
she's
just,
not sending a weekly email to any Lyme residents. She's sending them only to Old Lyme. Park and Rec includes.
yeah.
Lyme, so you want to make sure that the
So we'll
Lyme
just
people,
Filter their email addresses out, right?
yes.
So when you look at them by their,
You can just filter, it's in a Excel, some type of spreadsheet, and you just remove all the Lyme ones.
Yeah.
I wonder how many email addresses Martha sends to of Old Lyme residents. Then they could cut out the duplicates, right, to their list.
Now,
I don't think you need to.
who would handle
I
this?
think because they received that from Martha and this from Park and Rec. It's just a reminder to do it,
Yeah.
basically.
But who's gonna be the person that's responsible for tabulating and putting all this together and making sure that these people are, who? It's not gonna be Don.
It doesn't survey, well, I mean,
Does
Survey
it
Monkey
itself.
does that. Don't they give you the
Huh?
results?
They're gonna chart out the results and
They do
give it
that
to you.
for free.
They're gonna do it for you. I mean, Google will do it for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like literally, Bob, you're gonna fill out the survey. It's gonna go on the date that we decide it's done. We're gonna hit one button on here and it's gonna present you with pie charts and this and that of who wants what and what the people are interested in. 97% of people that took this survey want cleaner swim lines and are in favor of dredge. It's not, and then it's.
And then the open-ended questions will just be a list of all the comments.
And so the Park and Rec Commission, say for instance, we want the dredging. The selectmen decide they want the dredging, and so if people say they don't want it, we just say, well, I mean, because that is our job to do that. That's the objective of Park and Rec, to supply, or to come up with the plans for all improvements to any of the parks in the town.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, people are gonna be in favor of it. People are gonna want, you're not gonna get the survey back and have 100% of the people say, no, we don't care about swimming there and we don't want to improve it in any way. If you did, then maybe you would consider why we want it so bad, if nobody else wants it, but.
I think the only thing that would turn anyone off would be cost. People that could care less about Haynes Park, which there are a lot of people that they don't go there. I
We're
mean,
gonna do all this to Michelle.
yeah, that was shocking. But I think that by her lead into the survey, it's pretty well known. It's just to gather information. I mean, which is exactly what we're doing. We're not saying we're going to spend money. We're just gathering.
Okay, should Winnie be involved? Winnie knows a lot about computers. Should she be involved in this, or are you guys gonna
I
take the
don't
responsibility?
think that should be Winnie.
Not about computers.
We know Don's not gonna be involved in this.
You hear that?
I'm happy to help out with this if there's another set of hands needed, but I'm guessing there's not, but I'm happy to help.
I think we got it.
All right, so there is a motion. Sarah moved to accept the survey questions as presented.
At the meeting today, yes.
And then do we want to have a second on that?
Second,
Did you write down a date? I didn't hear you guys saying it
We'll
went.
fill it in.
Huh?
We will put a date in, probably, I think, give people not too long, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, month, whatever.
Okay, that sounds good.
So
Yeah,
who's,
to have, yeah.
and they're going to be included at the end of this, right? Your list of
Within
questions.
2 weeks of receiving this email, or is that?
Yeah,
Gonna be
we'll include a responses requested by date. I just have to look at the calendar. It depends when we send it out, but we'll do 2 weeks from when we send it out.
Hey, it'd probably be best to get it done before, I mean, Thanksgiving's coming up, but that's not as big as Christmas,
Too late to
so,
beat that. This is the worst time of year to send email.
yeah, exactly. So,
Black
so
Friday.
you want to say beginning of December, I would think, to try and, because people, yeah, it's a bad time,
We'll sort it out, right?
Yes.
okay.
And are we voting or you want to?
But, well, okay, is there any more? We have the motion, it was seconded, right?
Brian seconded.
Yeah, okay, any more discussion? Okay, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, I just abstain, because I don't really care for the whole idea.
Okay.
Very good, okay, any other new business? I just have one thing, I have to get, submit to the town, to the selectman's office, the meetings for next year. Basically what I do is I put together, I look at the calendar and say whatever the first Thursday of the month is. For next year, that'll be the meeting dates. For the Park and Rec Commission. And
When is January?
yeah, because we have to reserve the space here too, and I have to get it in by December, so.
January 2nd.
Yeah.
What's that?
January 2nd is the first Thursday.
Well, we put it down, and like
Put it
this year,
down. We can
yeah,
always-
this year we had 4th of July, so we canceled that meeting, but that's basically what I want everyone to approve, is the first Thursday of the month for all the months of 2025, except
We need to approve. That's just our common.
I was told.
Oh,
I
okay.
was told by Martha, you have to get your commission to approve on the
Okay,
meeting.
so
I approve.
who's making a motion? You?
I make the motion
So Bob moved.
for the 2025, continue to have the Park and Rec Commission meetings on the first Thursday of every month at 6:00 in the meeting hall.
Second,
Okay, any more discussion?
Mm-mm.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? No, abstain? No. Okay, so I will get that. I will send everybody a copy of that. I'll try and do it before I leave tomorrow. Oh,
I don't think
I'll
you
send
have
that
to
to
worry about
everybody.
getting that out
Huh?
tomorrow if you can't.
what's that?
I don't think you have to worry about getting that out tomorrow if you can't.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I will
Go on
try.
vacation.
But that's, I got you guys to approve, and so I'll get it to them by December. She said, I think it has to be in by December, but I could do that when I get back to them.
What do you have to do? Just type, I mean, do you want me to type?
I type out a thing saying, okay, Park and Rec Commission meetings for 2025, and I put down each date.
Do you want me just to do it for you?
No, I can do it. I can get it done by December. I was told I had to have everybody approve that here, which we just did.
Good to go.
Okay. Any other new business? Okay, hearing no other new business, there was no correspondence that I saw. We have here, Michelle and Matt. Matt, you're here. What, did you come here? You want to make a comment about something?
Want to ask permission rather than forgiveness if I do something prior to, and what's occurred is we're still playing boys baseball and little league. We're still playing, and that means for practice.
Yes.
And one of our family owns an equipment rental business, and since the daylight savings, like they were ready to go put. I said, "Don't bring them out here yet. Hold on, let me see. Go talk to Parks and Rec before we start doing this." Portable lights for the boys' majors field, and it's really from 4:30 until 6. Our practices start at 4, and it's only going to be for a month anyway, until the weather changes. In 2 weeks from now, it drops to 30 degrees, then we're done. Not gonna get kids out there, but I told the family, I said, "That's great, it's wonderful, but let me go talk."
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because this has come up for Townwoods Park several times, and we initially did a little feedback from people that lived around the area, and it was basically rejected by people that lived in the area.
For portable?
Huh?
For portable lights?
We just lights. We didn't say what type of lights.
Oh, this is different.
Okay, lights, and it was generally not well received by the people that are in that area.
In Town Woods, in fact, I think it's in the deed that they can't have lights. And I don't think that's the case with Cross Lane. Like I say, we're only doing it.
I don't believe it's ever in a deed. We've just voted on that or something a long time ago. That was 15 years
Well,
ago.
we got a lot of pushback at Town Woods.
Yeah, we got a lot of pushback.
I understand.
But you're talking about pushback for installing permanent lights and right? He's just.
No, this also came up for gas generated.
Well, these are diesel fuel.
Yeah,
Two
fuel,
lights.
This,
There's no ambient lighting effect to the single residence at all. And we're done by 6:15 the latest, like everybody's gone. We're on top.
How many houses are in the
6:15,
area?
6:15,
Just the one?
yeah, 6:15 may become 6:30, 6:45.
Well, I'm in charge of that, Bob. I don't let things like that slide.
Okay.
How about if you just approach the one house and let them know, just be transparent with it?
And
I mean,
Or,
like I said, I'm here to ask permission
What?
rather than go do it. And you guys 2 months from now hear about it. And then all of a sudden, well, yeah, I didn't think it was a big deal. I'm trying to be upfront to say.
Yeah.
oh, I appreciate that, because that's,
what are your thoughts, Tom? I mean, do you have any background with the house, the neighbors there? I know.
oh, we've had guys,
I know we've
she
had
spoke
other.
up a lot about things around there.
But she couldn't even see the cross lane, the baseball field from her house. She was talking about basketball, right?
She is always talking about that.
Which house is it? The one
The
across the
one, right, like the first house with like.
Right by the
piece.
railroad
Remember
track.
she didn't like the sound of the balls?
Yeah.
That was right by the railroad tracks?
Yeah.
That one? Okay. I have no problem with this.
I mean,
I'm just gonna,
it benefits my kids, so I'm totally in favor.
Your kid is there.
mine is not. I don't-
I think,
Maybe he is. I can't keep track of him, but I'm fine with this.
I but I think that what, as a courtesy, that person should be aware and get feedback from that.
I bet they won't be bothered.
To get permission,
Right, because what's.
It's not their
nothing they
land.
Have to give.
it's not their land.
And Bob, just think of like where the
Yeah,
baseball field is. It's, I understand on the basketball court, being a friendly neighbor, I guess, and whatever, but she can't even see the lights from her.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the other side of the park. Like the
But
whole
we're
basketball
talking-
court, imagine how she feels about the noise in the pickleball.
Did you
Should
hear?
people play music? I mean,
I'm
we're
just
talking
thinking,
about,
she's gonna get up,
Permission to
when
have
people
lights on
don't know what's going
screens,
on, they get, especially an older person, would get so upset just thinking what we're doing over
I
there.
just don't think we have to ask permission to
I
do
don't think
this.
we
And
would
we're
be
talking
asking
about
permission,
6
just
PM.
Letting
mean,
her know.
A month ago, it was broad daylight until 8 PM. So I just don't think this is,
Because if you let her know and she says, no, I don't want you to do that, we still have a right to do it. So then it seems like,
I don't know, I'm just more about being transparent. I don't know, be a good neighbor. So, I don't know, that's,
so if we were to, when there was the pickleball tournament and there was a million cars there, or there's opening day and there's a million cars there, does the neighbor get notified ahead of time?
I
Like,
think it's more about lights. I just remember from the park. it was
Lights
on the-
and
it was-
diesel
You wouldn't
fuel
believe the
and
things that people say.
generator
Light pollution,
noise.
It goes in their window. They, it's killing the moths. They're going to the wrong. I was like, oh
So
my
maybe
God.
you can notify her
I
rather than.
want everyone to, at the table, the commissioners to look at it this way too. Okay. We let the baseball guys put lights down their field, then the soccer and lacrosse people go, well, why can't we do that at Southern Park? It's just a kind of, my feeling, it's a questionable precedent to set, especially since we already know that a lot of people were
How many,
very much against
28
lights
feet?
at Townwoods Park.
I'm
But
also in
were
favor
there
of them at
deeded
Townwoods.
prohibitions on lights at Townwoods? It sounded like that might have been a
But
but
different.
if there is what Matt is saying, if there is literally a thing that says there cannot be light at Town Woods, then that solves the problem. Like,
If there is.
yeah.
I mean, couldn't we
I
just
have-
deal with it on a case by case basis? I mean, like, just deal with it on a
What?
case by case basis. I mean, I would say that, I mean, maybe a compromise is let them have the lights on, just under the caveat that Matt sends her some type of notice saying, hey, just as a courtesy, we're gonna have some lights on here until 6:30. That's all. And then if she complains or has something, then we can take it up at the next meeting. Maybe that's how we do it.
On Mondays and Wednesday evenings, it's it. Saturday, our practices are during the day, during the morning. So this is just from 4 until 6, and by 6:15, everybody's gone. And actually,
I'll just come out and say I don't have a problem with this.
Who's that talking? Is that Tim?
That's Brendan. That's Brendan. I don't have a problem with this.
Okay, anybody else want to comment? I think it's a bad precedent to set, and I'm sorry, Matt, but if you could do without 2 practices for 1 month, I don't see a problem with that either. I don't, you don't have to have those 2 practices.
That's the only practice there is.
But you have them on Saturday and Sundays or something.
No, just Saturdays. There's 3 practices a week and
Right.
2 of them, Are you
after
saying-
school.
yeah,
exactly.
I'm for it.
I'm for it.
Okay. One of
How do
somebody
other
want-
towns get away with having lights?
I-
Bradford
I
has
know-
lights.
I know it.
East Lyme.
Okay, another one to bring up. I know that when the rowers got their, the rowing building, that they wanted to extend the hours until 9 o'clock. But the commission has a rule for the parks that at sunset, parks close. That's our rule for all parks. So I think it's not a good precedent to set. That, well, how come that park can have past sunset? But that's our general rule for all parks.
Maybe we should like. I don't know, maybe there's a way around it, like. Lime Street, for example, has a ruling on signs outside. You can only have them for 30 days. Maybe that's like the type of thing. Yeah, you can't have lights for ever. You can't have lights for 3 months of the baseball season, but from daylight savings time for 40 days after that, you can have the lights for a total of 2 hours a day. I mean, something.
Not to say that Matt would do this, but then the next one would say, hey, Matt, go back to the meeting. And why can't we have lights even when it gets dark until 7 o'clock to have games at night? And games at night, I don't know, even the high school's gotten a lot of.
But then we
resistance
can
from
just,
that.
but then we can say no. Right? I mean,
No, I think.
And like Brendan said, case by case basis. Well,
That's my feeling is to say no about it at this point right now. But
Because of the sunset thing?
yes, it's the rule for all parts.
I mean, I'm not against it at all, believe me.
I mean, I would like to
But
help
I
you,
do
but
feel we have to be careful about being,
if this is the
The
rule
same,
for all the
you know?
parks, and then all of a sudden, well, we're making an exception here, then what's the next exception? Brendan, what do you think about that? If that's the rule for all the parks?
I feel like it's like, I feel like I'm in such a bad mood. So I'm sorry. But I feel like we make exceptions all the time. Soccer club has stored their goals in town woods for years and years. And here we are, case by case. Can lacrosse do it? Yes, they can. Like, we are a commission that does things like that for people. We're not,
but I think lights are
Soccer
different.
club doesn't have any goals at Townwoods Park. Those are owned by the town. And so are the lacrosse clubs. They're owned by the town.
It's a totally different, it's not comparing apples to apples there, Missy,
why?
because there's every part, the rules are, it closed at sunset.
Is that written in stone? Like, I'm just curious. I'm
It's
a
on our-
relatively new commissioner, so I'm
It's on
curious.
our boards that as you enter the
Oh,
park.
I know that. I'm just, at one point, it wasn't on a board. So I'm just curious,
I
like,
guess, think about the rowers, we've had tough.
We told the
times.
rowers no.
So that's going through my head. They're gonna say, well, you let the Little League have their thing, and then they're gonna want, that's the part that I'm a little,
I think this is very bad precedent to set.
I mean, I'm not at all against the lights.
I understand.
I'm really not. I'm just worried about
I
the
know a couple years
pushback.
ago, I was in front of this commission, I was going to like a softball field, this is behind Mile Creek. The answer would not affect the one resident at the front of Cross Lake. And that was well received. Now, of course, there's a financial component attached to permanent lighting. In this scenario, it's really just so that these parents, it's okay, it's dark, you gotta go. And they're like, wow, how neat would it be just to put 2 portable light stanchions, they wheel in on wheels, they go up, you're done. Hey, if we put them with the softball, if you say, you know what, yeah, do that in the softball field. Okay, the kids can still play on the softball field. They don't have to be on the boys' majors field, although we would like that.
Is there adequate lighting then from the field to get back to all the cars and walk around there if it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
dark?
Oh, yeah, people, right, people bring their dogs.
Okay,
Bob, can I ask, because I feel like there's two issues that are getting crossed up here. Is the concern the neighbor, or is it the lights after dark, or both? And I'm asking, I just don't know.
well, the one is after dark. I mean, that's what we've had for all the parks.
I think that's my main concern is the rules. We have rules, and do we just change it for all the parks? I don't think so.
but the rowers were asking for 9 o'clock.
Yes,
Matt's asking for 6 o'clock. That's a very different.
well, we just pointed out that the park, that building and their program is in that park, and the park years ago.
But you do make, like, I'm gonna probably shoot myself in the foot, but like, I don't know, I asked for permission to have beach dances at White Sands Beach every single week until 9 o'clock, and I got that permission, and I do that.
But it's not our park.
White Sands.
White Sands, that's our park.
I mean,
White
you
Sands.
had it at the actual beach?
Yeah.
And
You get town approval, I fill out a.
is there lighting, enough lighting down there? Missy?
Get it approved,
Is there a
and
lot of,
I think years ago, the beach there might even be on a sign on the beach closed at 9 o'clock. I think that's how that was.
Sunset, right?
No, that one's
You take it
different.
away from me, I'm fine with it, but
That one's different. It actually has a
I see why you
time.
brought
Doesn't it, Don? I think it has a time on the sign there.
It's summer, so it's,
I think it says 9 o'clock, but
Yeah, there's a sign that says that.
that's for White Sands Beach Association, but that was always the time for the beach to close, whatever reason, 9 o'clock.
Yeah. That one, that was.
I guess that's what I'm asking about is and no offense, Don, but for whatever reason, for the reason it's closed at sunset, like, where did the rule come from? I'm just curious about that
I can't
because
tell you.
I happen to be
I can't tell
very,
you.
no,
There was a rule before I even arrived here.
I think they were set
What were you
by
gonna
the
say?
commission.
I happen to be very in favor of lights. I'll just state that.
In favor or not in favor?
In favor.
In favor.
The light technology now is infinitely different than it was 20 years ago or whenever this was brought up before. It's very different now. The lights are LEDs, they're pointed down, like they turn on instantly. It's very different now. I mean, not the ones that, I don't know if they're LEDs. I'm sorry. It's very different technology. So that's why I'm curious about the whole sunset thing, because if we're worried about giving that permission to do this because the park's closed at sunset, then I start to wonder, why are the parks closed at sunset? I'm just,
Closed at sunset, it may be posted as such. But you've got multiple dog walkers, heck, they use our baseball and softball fields as open fenced areas to let their dogs run around and do their business. Because they're enclosed, you know, they go around.
Yeah, but that's not a sports organization, which basically that's.
That's just somebody breaking the rules.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And they're allowed to do that.
And they're not supposed to even have dogs at Tower Woods Park.
You say the dogs alone are like, Well, I mean,
If you guys want to table this, that's fine. I do have to ask permission about the T-ball field. I've marked that out. It's been marked out for a couple months now. And what we're pulling together, we just had our monthly meeting and said, okay.
Yeah, can we table
We
the?
table the whole thing.
Yeah, but because I know that came up and I asked Don, what's the plan for that T-ball that
A little T-ball field.
I never saw, but do we ever get a plan for that?
it's all marked out.
It's marked out. I looked at it. Ryan looked at it.
Yeah, but that's something we all have to look at.
Well, drive down there and look at it.
Oh, it's marked now?
Yeah,
It's painted lines on the grass.
yeah.
I didn't know you guys did that.
I didn't do it. He did it.
Marked it out as a.
Yeah, I'm not putting the field in. Little League wants to do it.
What's wrong with playing T-ball at Town Woods Park? I just don't get why everything has to be crammed in there, because I know we play T-ball over at my kids at the school over here. They play T-ball in just any grass area.
there's a lot more kids and I feel like there's a lot more.
Our biggest program is T-ball. And so what we end up doing is, we border 6 teams, and we do that because we have 3 fields. We have the boys majors field, the girls softball field, and the Mile Creek field, all in the same area. So on Saturday mornings and 1 day a week, our T-ball teams, you know, they have their 1 weekly practice if those coaches want to do that, because we all know what it's really like. It's kind of organized chaos as you're corralling and trying to instruct. But it's all right there across the lane. You had tremendous feedback in the 15 years that I've been involved. Okay, they're up in Town Woods. Okay, they're over at behind Center School. Okay, they're over here. A lot of those young parents with young kids, they're like, can't we consolidate this? And that space that we're talking about would also serve our majors boys, because now it's another infield practice area. T-ball will be there, you know, their 1 little practice a week or whatever that ends up happening. But it gives us additional space, which is again, centrally located. It used to be an old tennis court, I've been told. So that's all it's been.
Is there any netting to make sure that baseball isn't fouled into that area?
It would borderline our batting cage, which is, I don't know, was it 8 feet, 10 feet tall, whatever those fencings are. And the pickleball court.
That was one of the questions I had though, Matt.
Away from it.
but if there's a majors game going on,
Mhm.
a foul ball could come up and over into
Yes.
that area.
And we wouldn't be scheduling, concurrent activities. If there's a majors game going on, there's nothing that would go on T-ball field other than people maybe getting loose for the game, not anything else.
So would you have, I had a couple questions. There's a mound over there for pitchers to warm up on. Would you somehow move that or have that in there somewhere?
We're gonna move that. The plan is to slide the bleachers down a little bit. I'd like to get them out of the sunlight. 'Cause people hate sitting there.
Matt, can you meet, can we set up a meeting to whoever's interested to go down there and talk about all these questions without, and I think that would be the next step as far as that thing's concerned. So everybody knows what, without seeing it or being there, you may have some additional questions once you get there. So can we set something up for that for next season or whatever? I mean, not for next season. We have the meeting before that. Personally, I'd like to be in attendance to that meeting, but I'm going away for 2 weeks tomorrow.
Well, Matt, how much longer are you going to be out there? I mean, this is kind of like a next 2-week thing and you're done, right? Or am I wrong on that?
Well, as far as the T-ball field is concerned, we want to get that, we'll call it construction, really, we're scraping topsoil off and putting that in other areas where it may be needed, and then bringing clay in, because it'll be a clay infield. And
But what about
we
for the
want to
lights?
get that before the winter.
Yeah, the lights, it's only for the next few weeks.
The lights are just for the next 3 weeks, really.
And you said those were till 6:30? I just want to have it for them.
Pardon?
How late would you be leaving the lights on if
Till 6 o'clock.
oh, 6,
Now,
okay.
practice starts at 4, we go no more than 2 hours, and even though the kids, do we have to? Yeah, we have to, we're done, go home.
Matt, is the white line in like enclosing that intended to be a fence?
It can be. And we're hoping.
Okay.
We'll let it do.
I think we all have to set up a date to go down there and talk about this additional field for
Sure.
T-ball at some point.
I mean, if there's no fence, for all intents and purposes, you're talking about replacing grass with clay.
That's it.
Let's be real. And it's maybe putting bases in or something.
My biggest concern is safety issues.
Well, people already play in that
If you
area.
cram too much into a small area, would it be safe? That's my concern.
Didn't we already, am I like crazy that we already kind of were all in favor of this field? And
I don't think we ever,
No, I think we just talked about it and, asked Matt to mark it out so we
Okay.
get a visual of it.
Or how about this? Can everyone before the next meeting go down, take a look at these markings? It's at whatever your convenience is, and so we can.
I've seen this.
I would go soon because the markings are getting a little faded. I mean, I want to, no, you don't have to. I went at night with flashlights on and I met with flashlights.
Flashlights?
I could see everything. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's dark at 5 o'clock. So
Well, not
could
with
use some
the,
portable lights, but
so
you
everyone.
could turn the lights on for me, Matt.
So what are we doing about the lights? Cause I know we said table it, but then it's only,
Then the
it's only
season's
asking for a
over.
couple of weeks, then we just
maybe
wait.
that's a good idea.
No, I don't think we should table it if it's only for 3
It'll be
weeks.
done.
I would suggest we make a decision.
I agree.
Could we call it a temporary permission to?
A special instance, like we have somebody donating lights because they're a parent. It's not like it's something that means now there's portable lights every fall for, I don't know.
I tell you guys, I've been doing this for 26 years. And with Townwoods Park, it was not favorable at all. And even though there's maybe only one neighbor there, I think what's gonna happen is that, okay, you're letting Little League do this, so why can't we do it up to 6 o'clock at night?
Where?
Townwoods Park.
But why can't they? I guess.
That's my question as well. That's why I was wondering about the
Way back
sunset.
when the park was being built, people in that area.
They fought us so hard they were
I
gonna.
know, but I
Gave
think
us
that there's a
money.
real difference between temporary 6 PM lights when people are just getting home from work, or building Townwoods Park or building Cross Lanes Park and putting in permanent, big, giant structures that are gonna have night games and,
Or
stay-
just be on until.
on this. This is for off-season practices or whatever it might be for a 1 month period of time, once daylight savings rule, it's not even games. We're not putting permanent structures in there. We're not gonna have night games that start at 7 o'clock at night. We're just asking for an extra hour of light that we lost from daylight savings.
I mean, like I said, can we just call it a special circumstance or
Let's say the exception.
to 2 weeks or whatever? And if
I
we
mean,
get-
a club that wants to come in and have it, I mean, I don't want to, never mind. I think we should just decide on this. I agree.
Now, okay, so because public money was put into this and he's only gonna use it 2 nights a week, could somebody else come in and say, we wanna use it 2 nights a week too?
No, there's no public money. Somebody owns them and wants to.
No, for the park itself. The Cross Lane Park, Don believes that state money somehow was involved in that, correct?
No, it-
So what I'm saying is you let him do it. His organization does it, and then somebody go, oh, okay, we only want it for 2 nights a week too. Can we do it? And they bring their own lights in.
What's
would have to
the
ask.
on the boys' major field to do something else?
When steep grants are involved, I don't know what was involved when that park was built. But specifically, it says that based on the scheduling and based on the availability of the thing, we cannot really say that some other organization can't go in and use that as long as the Park and Rec Department and we say it's okay. But you have to have it open. We brought this up at the last meeting, I think. Brendan, you looked it up too. I don't know if Brendan's
Yes.
still there.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
That would not prevent somebody else to say, hey, we want to play wiffle ball. We want to do that. I just
Are they
trying to look at the precedent.
Are
of
they bringing their own lights though?
Somebody could say so,
I mean, when baseball has opening day and they're running grills and stuff, the grills aren't there when I go down to play wiffle ball with my kids, and I'm not demanding that Park and Rec provide grills for me to grill a hot
Well-
dog while I'm playing with my kids. Like, they're bringing grills and making hot dogs and hamburgers, and then they put them away or bring them home or whatever.
Well, I think isn't there a town rule that you can't be bringing grills in? Like
We're
Oh, Matt.
fire, like,
No, I got. We don't care about the kids. They can't do anything in the city. No, I know. It's hard. I mean,
I think what Bob is saying, that if another outside organization said, I want to come down and have lights, I'm gonna bring them myself.
we'll come down on the nights
We
that,
probably would.
because
have
already they
this.
reserve, just like with soccer, lacrosse.
Case
have all these
case by case
programs
basis.
unless-
We'll have to listen to it, and then we can make a decision then. That's how I'm approaching this.
Yeah, I would think that's what we should be doing, not making any decision tonight about it.
I don't think that's what Brendan's saying. Brendan, are you
Didn't
saying
hear
that
him.
if the other group comes
No.
forward and asks, that's when
Yes.
we look at it?
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is I'm looking at this as a case by case basis. Matt has taken the time to come to the commission to ask for this special permission, which I feel like is reasonable. Yeah, and I hear Bob's point. If other people look at this as a license to do the same thing, we'll have to hear that. And then maybe Matt's license to do this is taken away at that time. I'm comfortable enough with saying I don't have any problem with this moving forward because I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think it's a minor thing. That's just how I feel. So I vote yes.
Okay, for this limited time until,
We don't have a,
I know, but it's only for what, another 2 or 3 weeks or something, you said?
Yeah, I mean, I'll make a motion for the next 3 weeks. Can Little League via Matt Reed and whoever this private person is that has these lights be able to set up the portable lights until curfew is 6:30?
curfew is, what did he say?
6:30.
I thought you said 6.
He said 6.
You said 6.
Oh,
You
give
got-
a buffer.
Well,
Brendan's
6:15
just
will say.
throwing it out.
Give them a buffer, 6:30. Again, it was broad daylight until 8 o'clock a month ago.
Portable lights.
Yeah, I'm just saying that just to give a little bit extra time in there, just if you got to move.
Just so if
something or
a
do
parent
whatever.
is late,
Yeah,
you
want
know,
someone
to
sitting there-
pick up their kid, it's not.
Or
We
someone
say
sitting there.
2 nights a week, is that what he said?
Yeah.
And the decision then will be reevaluated based on how. Can you add that to it?
Wait a
And
minute.
a decision for past this next 3 weeks or whatever it is will be reevaluated.
I think that that's fair.
Well, I don't think, do we need that?
I don't know if you need that.
Well, it's
Because
just,
this is just a special circumstance.
yeah, but just to say, for some reason, we get problem with it. That we can rescind this for, just like we rescinded the other group that.
How about
is
PRC
causing
will
your
reevaluate?
With the ability to go there, we told them they had to go to Townwoods Park. Like. I think
Yeah,
it
that's-
should be in there.
That sounds
that
good.
we
That's
can-
fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
I
that they add that to it.
So Park and Rec Commission will reevaluate
After
at the
the,
conclusion
whatever,
of
what's
these.
3 weeks, what's the date, Matt? Are you
Or
interested
you
in
could just say
December
reevaluate if
1st.
Or
necessary.
we just say it to
gonna
the
be over
December
real
meeting?
soon.
December 1st?
Oh, yeah, at the December meeting, Park and Rec will reevaluate,
Okay.
But right now, the temporary experiment is until when? December?
Well, we said
Well, he
3
said
weeks.
until the weather gets bad.
Well, December, the weather breaks, one of them.
Which is, we're like 3 weeks. I mean, Brendan stated 3 weeks, so we can,
Also, okay, 3 weeks from tonight, whatever.
How about just the duration of the month of November?
Okay, yeah.
You gonna practice on Thanksgiving?
No,
okay, does somebody want us, oh, I'm sorry, Ben. We need a second.
I'll second.
Yeah, okay.
Second big
I'm second
machine.
machine today.
Any more discussion? Well, okay.
not.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, I'm just abstaining from this one.
thank you.
Okay, and the other thing is before the next meeting, is everyone gonna go down and take a look at this? This, what do you call it? T-ball
I
proposal?
just said Park and Rec Commission members will all plan to take a look at it before
Yeah,
the next meeting.
before the next meeting. When's the next meeting? December 1st? What's the next? I don't have the.
I mean, while we're at it also, can we get a new fence that we can see through?
Make that a stipulation. Make it a stipulation of the clay. Just kidding.
What's,
December 5th.
When did you want to do this? You wanted to have the field in before winter, though?
We do it.
I cannot be at the December 5th board meeting or commission meeting, neither can you.
okay, all right.
Missy, can you see the field though?
No, I can't. It's so hard
No,
to see.
field. Can you go down
Oh,
and see the field?
I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Get it on the record.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so everyone's gonna take a look and you're gonna redo the lines or something. And then, if we have any questions, you want to give us your email or phone number to,
860
yeah,
949
yeah,
0065.
0065. Okay. That would be best if anyone has a question. Give Matt a call.
We're not putting that in the minutes. You don't want your phone number in the.
No. Yeah, well, we don't, that's just for the commission members. Okay.
Oh, you never know.
Yeah.
Once you turn the lights on, they'll be calling you. Kidding. I'm kidding.
Maybe we should put it in here.
No, don't put his phone number in.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay, all right. Okay, anything else?
Thank you.
Any more public comment? Anybody on phone? Okay, motion to adjourn.
Me.
Second.
Oh,
Your second was.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right, we're out of here. What time is it?
7:43.
7:43. God, I thought this would be a quick one too. Okay, we'll hit the button over there and turn it off. All right, thanks for everybody showing up.
Bye, Rich.
Thank you, Bob. Okay.